All right, y'all. Pawpaw Trump called us today from the Kennedy Center, and here's all the tea you need to know about the phone call, bitch. So, one, he started off good and then started to deteriorate. But is it really deterioration? I want to say a little bit yes and a little bit no. So, one, Donald Trump was at the Kennedy Center today. One, because he's the chair of the Kennedy Center now. And I don't know if y'all know the tea about him trying to get it renamed to, like, I think the Trump Center or whatever. He even went on a tangent about him trying to become one of the nominees as he was announcing today. So, with that, he was at the Kennedy Center today to announce the nominees for, I guess, the next person who will be inducted to the Kennedy Center Hall of Fame. So, just in case y'all want this factual information, and then I'll get into my thoughts, y'all know at the end. So, among the nominees were George Strait, Michael Crawford, Sylvester Stallone, and Gloria Gaynor. That's the lady who sings I Will Survive. And also Kiss. He went on this, first off, like, his speech about all of these people was really good. He read off of like a piece of paper that they gave him, and it was so funny. All I could think of is what's his name, Ariana Grande ex-boyfriend, or Pete, whatever his name is, not Higself, saying that he can't read. But he was reading off of some script today, and then he started talking about the different nominees, and then he got to Sylvester Stallone. And again, like a lot of times when I watch Donald Trump speeches, I'm often inspired because he is the president and he does know some things. He's not a complete idiot. So he actually knows Sylvester Stallone very well. He calls him Sly. And one thing about me is I study all type of boxers and fighters and things like that. So I'm a really big Rocky, Sylvester Stallone fan. I understand. I've watched the Rocky, like almost every Rocky and Rocky documentaries. So he started to talk about Sylvester Stallone as a friend and how much he deserves to be in this, have this nomination. And he kind of goes into the backdrop about him, and he starts to tell a little piece of the story that we don't know. Like, and this is for the real Rocky aficionados. So he tells stories, like he tells stories about stories that I would not have known about had I not sat and listened to this speech. And so that was pretty cool. That was, Pawpaw told us a really good, it felt very FDR-ish, fireside chat-ish, when he was talking endearingly about Sylvester Stallone, his family, and his friends. And then he talked about Gloria Gaynor and how he really liked I Will Survive, and how it's like an electric song, and how everybody has sung that at least once in their life, and it feels good whenever you hear it. So that was the first part of the speech. That was the first part of when he walked out into the Kennedy Center. And I genuinely enjoyed it. Genuinely. And then they got to the politics. So let me see. Hold on. Let me look over my notes and see. Let me see. Hold on. So after, like, he finished talking about the nominees, that's when the conversation started to depreciate. He started to kind of tangent. I forget how he was talking about the Kennedy Center, but he's talking about the Kennedy Center. He was saying how the Kennedy Center has good bones. I feel like you're going to see a lot of people try to make fun of that. But he was talking about how he's going to get the Kennedy Center back to how it used to be. It's a good place. Has nice stuff, but it just needs to be upgraded. It's been run down. And then he alluded that to the White House and in Washington, D.C. And then, so, of course, from there, he said he was going to redo Washington, D.C. down to the grass. He said he was going to make sure Washington, D.C. has the finest grass. So what else it says? Then I put regular tangent. He went after Cali, of course, Gavin Newsom. He always go after Cali. He talked about making D.C. safer. He talked about the Olympics and the World Cup. He talked about cleaning up D.C., the roads, the parks, the grass. He said you should stop calling him a dictator. He said everybody called me a dictator until they get mugged. And he said that's how he feel about this Washington D.C. thing. People calling him a dictator when he's just trying to help them. So then we got into the reporter questions. And so somebody asked him if they knew that Russia had hacked into the U.S. Fed system. And he said, yes, I did hear about that. And somebody said, well, do you intend to ask Putin? And he was like, yes, I intend to ask Putin. But he was like, what do you expect? He was like, they got good hackers and we got good hackers. He said Democrats are led by insecure people. Somebody asked him if they were going to take, it was a vote about something. He said, and they asked, well, are you going to go to the Democrats for a vote? Are you going to talk to Chuck Schumer? And he was just like, I am, but he was like, they follow the slogan of Nancy Reagan. They always just say no. That shit is funny. That shit, his one-liners, his zingers be zinging, bitch, like, burn! That should be so fucking funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. And so this is something else that was said today. He was asked about if he needed to extend what was going on in Washington, D.C., would he actually extend it? And he said yes. And he kind of went into further detail about how he essentially plans to extend it. He said, we can't even begin to do what we want to do within 30 days. So we're definitely going to have to extend it. He was just like, I can just declare a national emergency and keep extending it, or I can go to Congress, and even though the Democrats is not going to push it through, the Republicans will. All right. He said somebody asked him about Iran and his mission, and the word obliterate, clearly that's a trigger for him. But he said people keep saying obliterate, and like that's not the right word. He said no, we obliterated they base. So that did we talk about Putin and Russia? How he said, I don't think we did, but he said that if when he talks to Putin and Putin don't agree or find a way to end this war with Ukraine, I believe, it's going to be some repercussions. So some consequences and repercussions. That's what he said. He said it on TV. I think Putin at home laughing at him, giggling at him like, oh, this nigga just yapping. Okay. Somebody asked him about the honorees. Somebody said, Donald Trump, how much say-so did you have or input did you have on the nominees for the Kennedy Center? And he said 98%. He said it was some wokers that tried to get through, but he kept that out of there. I'm just telling you what he said. Somebody asked him about the wall, and I kind of zoned out a little bit, so I might be missing something, but he said that somebody stole a wall from us. Somebody asked him when he was going to finish the wall. He said we finished it, but then he wanted to add some more. But then in the Biden administration, they sold it for pennies on the dollar, so essentially they stole it, but he said we got to get it back. All right. So that's it. What else? Anything else? Oh, yeah. So somebody asked him about the Fed chair suit, and he calls the Fed chair too late. That shit funny as fuck to me. I think that shit is hilarious. But he say too late tripping. He's still a Fed chair, but they keep asking him when he planned to name his replacement, and he say about 2 weeks in. Y'all know that's Trump. That's his default. 2 weeks, bitch. Somebody asked him, and I like the answer to this question. Somebody asked him, do you think you can convince Putin to stop killing civilians? And he said, I've tried several times, and he said he would, but by the time we hang up the phone, I see dead civilians in the street from him just dropping another missile. He said, so I think the answer to that question would be no. And then I think he just headed out. So that's the tea you need to know about the press conference. I think he just be gassing people, because he did go on his tangents. He went on his tangents about having the highest ratings and the DC rates being doctored and cooked, and how the crime is the worst it's ever been. So I don't know, y'all, but that's the tea y'all need to know about the press conference at the Kennedy Center. Baby. Whew, that was a lot. I hope you call us back tomorrow, bitch, because that Rocky shit, I needed to hear that shit. Like, just hearing some, like, if you're a Rocky fan and you, like, the pieces to the story he gave us was pretty fucking cool, because I didn't know that he didn't want to play Rocky. I didn't know that they had put other people up before him and shit like that. All right, Popo. Until next time.